Hey there, John Morris here, johnmorrisonline.com. Welcome back to another episode of The John Morris Show. This one, we're going to get into part 3 of my Freelancing 101 tutorial. And in this part, or this step, I'm going to show you how to create a YouTube video that promotes your freelance services. And I know a lot of you right off the bat are going to sort of balk at that and maybe step back a little bit. But I'm going to show you why recording this video is probably a lot easier than you might be thinking. And then the things that you can do to crank out this video, make it simple for you, and be able to create a high quality video that does 99% of the selling for you. So even if you're skeptical about whether or not you think you can create this sort of video and how you're going to look on camera and how you're going to sound and all that sort of thing, check out this episode, because I think by the end of this episode, you'll realize that it's a lot easier than you might think, and you're a lot more capable of creating something like this than you might think. So that's what's coming up in this episode. With that said, let's jump into it. All right, so this installment, I'm going to show you how to create a video to promote your freelance services on YouTube. So the page that we created in part 2, I'm now going to show you how to create a video to promote that page. I want to start by tackling what I consider the elephant in the room, which is, I'm sure a lot of you here create a video and you sort of like, well, I can't create a video, I can't do that. And there's sort of this litany of reasons why a lot of people think that they can't do this. And so I'm going to try and knock all of those out of the way and get you to the point and show you everything that you need to know where you really do feel like you can create this video, because that's actually a lot easier than you might think. And so the first thing that I want to do is I want to play a clip from the very first video that I did using this sort of strategy that I recorded, so you can sort of get a feel of what this kind of video looks like. So let me go ahead and play that for you.
All right, John Morris here, and I'm going to run you through a quick tutorial on how to create a XML file that Google product search can use to automatically add products from an e-commerce site to Google product search. So let's get into it. As you can see here, I just created this. It's actually for my wife's site. She sells vintage clothing, and so these are all her products.
All right, so a couple things I want to point out here. First off, do you hear how bad the audio is on that? Seems like it sort of sounds like you can hear the background noise. It's almost like a jet engine in the background. There's a lot of ums, there's a lot of ahs, sort of scrolling up and down sort of manically a little bit there, which annoys the hell out of people. Incoherent about going from topic to topic and so forth. At the end of the day, it's actually a pretty bad video. And yet, I still got work from this video. In fact, my first few freelance clients were people who watched this video and then they searched me out. I didn't even do a good job of pitching my services in this video. So they searched me out and they hired me to build this data feed for them. So the point is you can do this. This is a really bad video, and yet it still worked. And so I'm going to show you how to make a much better video than this, which will work better for you. Now, one of the first objections I get with this is, well, I don't have any recording software. I don't have the equipment, this, that, the other. The bottom line here is that the software that you need to record your videos does exist no matter what your budget is. So not having the software is not an excuse. Now, if you want to go top of the line, you can go with something like Camtasia Studio. This is the software that I use. It's built for doing these kind of screencasts. It's what's recording this video right here, right now. And it has all the tools that you could ever sort of want to be able to do this kind of thing. And so, again, if you can afford it, that would be the route to go. Of course, it's $249. So for a lot of people, that's out of reach. So another option that's out there is you have something called Screencastify. And Screencastify is a Chrome extension that will allow you to record screencasts. And it will record your microphone. You can record a certain area. You can record a tab. You can record the whole desktop. And then it will save those videos automatically to your Google Drive, since it's a Google Chrome extension. They do have a $2 a month premium thing where you get some extra stuff in there, but I personally have had good success using Screencastify. I've used it before sort of really just messing around, but it has always recorded fine for me. I think if you look through some of the reviews, you'll find some people have issues. The big thing here is just to try it, and if it works for you, then use it, and don't worry about how it works for everybody else. But that's an option out there that's completely free or a really low premium price at $2 a month. Even if that doesn't work for you, Camtasia has a free recording software called, or recording service probably is a more accurate term, called Gene. And with Gene, you can record screencasts a lot like you would with Camtasia, and then you can upload those screencasts to their free hosting site, which is screencast.com, and they give you a certain amount of space that you can that you have available to upload for free, and then you can buy more. And there's a pro version where you can buy more stuff, but you can record and upload videos to screencast.com completely free. And then you can go into your account. So if I come over here to my account, you can come into your account and you can go to a particular video, and over under details, you can download the video, and it will download as an MP4. And so you have the ability to download, record, and then download these videos that you create completely free using Gene. Now, there's a 5-minute time limit, but you can record your video 5 minutes at a time, download it, and then piece them all together in editing software. So if you just absolutely have no budget, you can still create this video. So again, the bottom line is that the software that you need exists out there. So don't let that be something that stops you. Don't let that be an objection that gets in your way. The next thing I hear, well, I'm not good on camera, I don't know what to say. And the first thing I'll point out is nobody likes the way they look on camera. I've recorded over 500 videos. I still hate the way I look. I still have people who make silly comments about the way I look. Do it anyway, right? This is your life. This is your business. If you want to make money doing this, like, at some point you have to do something that's going to be uncomfortable for you. And this is one of the easiest things that you can do. Second thing is you don't need to be on camera. We're going to be recording a screencast. So your voice is the only thing that people will hear. Now, you can record a webcam like I'm doing here along with it, but you don't need to. Again, if you go back and look at the video that I showed you, the very first video I did like this, I didn't have the webcam in that. A lot of my videos don't have the webcam in it. So you don't need to have you on camera. It's really just ultimately your voice. So again, that's not an excuse not to do this. And then as far as not knowing what to say, well, what I would say is write out what you want to say as a blog post first. You don't ever need to post the blog post, although you certainly can, because you could maybe get some work as a result of that. But write it out first, word for word, exactly what you want to say in the video. And then when you record, use the blog post to know what to say. As a matter of fact, this video right here, I've already written out the blog post for. It's right over here on my screen, and I'm literally just going through what I wrote out already. I'm not saying it word for word because I've done this enough, and so I can ad-lib, but I'm using it as a guide to go through the video. And that's going to cut way down on the ums and the uhs and all that sort of thing. It's going to make you be a lot more concise and be able to say exactly what you want to say and get through your points and not spend a lot of time going off on tangents or so forth. So write out what you want to say and read it in your screencast. It's that simple. People, for the most part, don't really care for what we're doing here. If you're going to grow a big 1 million subscriber YouTube channel, then okay. But for what we're doing here, it's just fine. Okay, so those are some of the main objections that I get. So hopefully that's all out of the way. And now you're like, okay, I can do this. I can record this. And how do we actually go about doing this? So, you might be wondering, well, what are we going to do a screencast of, right? What is this screencast that we're talking about? What is it going to be of? Well, that's a good question. So if we go back to part 1, you remember that in that we talked about creating a solutions checklist. So this is where you figured out the problem and then you went on Google and did some research and you figured out what the solution is and you created a checklist that you can go through as you're solving the problem and you have your solution right there for you. Well, guess what? This is also your video outline. And I think this will probably be the hardest part of this for some of you to get your head around, but in your video, you're going to show people exactly how to solve the problem that you chose in part number 1. And I mean the exact solution. Now, when I say that, I know a lot of you probably be like, well, wait a minute. Won't that mean that they'll have the answer and then they don't need to hire us? And for some people, that'll be absolutely true. They'll watch your video and they'll go, oh, I got the solution, and they'll move on. Those people probably were going to do that anyway. There will always be people who would just prefer someone else they'll prefer to pay someone else to do it for them. So if you take a look at my video again, how to create an XML data feed for Google product search. If you take a look at that, you'll see I show them exactly how to build that Google data feed. I give them the exact answer, yet I still got hired from it. Why? Well, it's still a lot of coding. So if you're not a coder, it's still going to be difficult for you to implement. And a lot of people, even if they could implement it, they're just not going to want to. So even having the answer, there's still this group of people who are going to want to pay someone or going to need to pay someone to do it for them because they either don't have the technical skill or they just simply don't want to do it. And so there will always be a group of people that you can sort of siphon off of this to get work from. And I've done this for years and years and years in selling my services, in selling my products, my courses and so forth. I mean, I put out a ton of free content, and yet there's always people who want more, who are willing to pay for more. And that's where your customers come from. And everybody's happy when you do it that way. But really the bigger thing here is that the reason we're giving the exact solution in the video is we need this solution to be perceived as really high value to people who have this problem. So when people search for this problem and they click on our video, they watch it and they like it. They share it. Maybe they even subscribe to your channel. Maybe they share it in a group or with other people, etc. We need it to have really high perceived value because the goal for this video is to have it rank really high on Google and YouTube so that we're showing up at the top of the searches whenever someone searches for this on Google or YouTube. And that's actually a lot easier than you might think to do, but it's only going to happen if you actually help a lot of the people who view it to solve the problem. So most of the people who view the video are going to solve the problem themselves. But there's going to be, again, this smaller group of people that will sort of siphon off who just don't want to do it themselves or can't, and they will hire you to be able to do it. And that's the entire strategy here, and it works. I've done it, again, for years and years and years with my YouTube channel. Now, to sort of give an example of this, if you remember our original problem keyword phrase that we sort of looked at, one of the ones that we looked at in part 1 was error establishing a database connection, which is sort of a common error that you can see in WordPress in certain situations. And if you remember, that search got 22,200 searches a month. So imagine a scenario where we create a YouTube video and it ends up ranking on the first page of Google. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and simply, let's go over and search this. So error establishing a database connection. You remember what I said is at that time, there was no videos that showed up fixing this problem. Now, there seems to be one here now. If you look at those search results, there's one showing up now. But at that time, there wasn't any. And this one was created way back in 2009. There's no other videos showing up here. So imagine a scenario where we create a video and it shows up here. It's a lot easier to do. It's a lot easier to get a YouTube video to rank high on Google than it is one of your own web pages. So it's a lot easier to do than you might think. So again, imagine a scenario where we get our video ranked in the top maybe 5 on this page and someone's looking through this page. What do you think is the most likely thing that someone's going to click on this day and age on a search result here? Probably a video, especially if that video is, newer than 2009. So there's a good chance that if you get ranked high, your video ranked high on this page, a lot of people are going to click on it, more than what I'm going to suggest here. But let's say 10,000 people per month. Of that 22,000, 10,000 per month click on that video and view it. And of those, 1% of those people hire you to fix that problem for you. A very, very low percentage, I think we can agree. Even in that scenario, that's 100 clients per month. And if each one of those pays you $100, which is on the low end of what we talked about charging, that's still $10,000 per month for one problem, one video, one freelance service. And again, only charging $100 per project. Imagine if you charged $200 or $300 per project. Or imagine if you took this idea and you build out 5 of these videos for 5 different freelance services, solving 5 different problems, or 10 or 20. You could go as many of these as you want to go. So the point is, even if a really super low percentage of people end up hiring you from this video, you can still make a pretty good chunk of change doing it. And more importantly than that, you have control. You can decide how many of these problems you're going to solve, how many videos you're going to create, how many pages you're going to create. And they're all really, really easy to create. There's not a ton of overhead here. So, and even if you charge, let's say you charge $200 and only 5 of those 22,000 people a month hired you, that's still an extra $1,000 per month. It's not nothing. And again, you can build 4, 5, 10, 20 of these. So this is the strategy. This is why this works. Build a YouTube video that gets a lot of traffic. You point people to your services page. You have a simple services page that gets you hired for a couple $100. You can complete the job in a couple hours. Even if you did one of these a day at $200, it's still $6,000 in a month, or $72,000 in a year. So again, that's what I'm saying. We think often think in terms of these $5,000 and $10,000 projects, but you can make some damn good money doing $200 and $300 projects. And when you set this up this way, it's a really, really easy sale. So that's the point here. So again, getting back to the question of how do you record the video, you just make a screencast where you go through your checklist and show them exactly how to solve the problem they're having. So essentially what you're doing is just teaching. You're not really selling. And that is all the proof that you're going to need to demonstrate to someone who wants to hire you that you know what you're doing, because they've literally watched you do it. And that's why I have said in previous videos, someone who lands on your services sales page in this strategy will already be 99% sold on hiring you, because they've watched you solve it, and they wouldn't click over if they weren't interested in hiring you. So that page does not have to be all that complicated. All the selling happens here in this video by you just demonstrating that you know what you're doing. That's the strategy. That's the big sort of trick here. So with that said, then how do we still need to point people to our services sales page. So how do we sort of do that and sell our services in this video? And it's really pretty straightforward. So I suggest at the beginning and at the end of the video, you do something like this. So you insert a line that says, by the way, if you'd prefer I just do this for you, you can learn more about hiring me at yoururl.com. And the URL is going to be the sales page, the URL of the sales page that we created in part 2. So you might start off one of your videos saying something like, hey, John here. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 7 different solutions to the error establishing a database connection error that you might be seeing on your site, and why you Googled and found this video in the first place. And I'm going to show you how to fix each one. And by the way, if you're going through this and you start thinking to yourself, I'd rather just hire someone to do this for me, I can do that for you. And you can learn more about hiring me at url.com. All right, so with that said, let's get into this video. Just put that at the beginning of your video and then go in and then show them how to fix the problem. And then at the end of the video, after you get all done, say something like, okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. And as I mentioned, if you'd prefer to just have me fix this for you, you can learn more about hiring me at url.com. All right, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later. It's that simple. You don't need to do a big pitch. You just need to literally let them know that they can hire you and point them to the URL. They're not going to go to that URL unless they're at least mildly interested. And when they get on that page, we've kept it so simple. We've stuck straight to the facts. There's not really anything to turn them off. And all we really want from that page is the quote request or the contact info. And then in the back and forth, any questions they have, we can answer. We can overcome any objections. And we've got sort of a live lead that we're interacting with. That's the best you can ask for, is a live lead like that. And that's what this gives us. But the big thing again with actually recording the video is write it out before you record. Write out these phrases that you're going to insert before you record so you can just read it instead of trying to think it all up on the fly. That makes recording this sort of video 100 times easier, which is why I'm doing it right now. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is the number one factor in recording a high quality video. And it's sort of counterintuitive, but the most important thing about video is the audio. Now, I know that sounds weird, but it's true. And all the research that has been done on this points to the same thing, that people will turn off a video faster because of that bad audio than anything else. If you remember my video and you go back to it and you hear that screaming jet sound in the background, that's a video that people will turn off very quickly. That video still has close to 50,000 views, but still, had I known how to edit audio at that time and recorded better audio, that video would probably be a lot more popular. So again, audio is the number one thing that matters when it comes to a high quality video. Now, yes, your microphone is important, but you can get good quality audio out of okay microphones. I've had several different microphones that I've used, and what I've learned is it matters a little bit, but what matters even more than that is how you set up everything, in terms of your recording, how you master the audio, all of that stuff. And I've spent years figuring this stuff out. So what I've done, if you're a patron of mine, is I've recorded a video where I show you the exact process I use for getting good quality audio on my videos. What I've learned since recording that bad video way back in the day. The things that are important to get right when you record, how to drastically reduce the background noise, my exact mastering process with how I equalize, how I compress, all that sort of thing. And then how you can automate all of it. I literally click a button and walk away and it does everything for me. So the key here is getting good quality, consistent audio in everything that you record. So it's consistent. So if you're already a patron of mine, you can watch that. You can head on over to patreon.com to my feed and you can check out that video. It's there waiting for you. If you're not yet a patron, then you can become one and learn more about becoming one at johnmorrisonline.com/Patreon. All right, that'll do it for this installment. In the next series, I'm going to show you how to promote your video, how to actually get this video in front of the right people who will be most likely to hire you, and also how to start working on getting it ranking in the search engines and that sort of thing. So be sure to check out that installment in tomorrow's video. All right, that'll do it for this episode. If you liked the episode, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. If you're on YouTube, make sure and ring the bell. Also, if you want access to all the past episodes and the links to subscribe to the audio version of the podcast on Android, iTunes, TuneIn, all that, you can find that at johnmorrisshow.com. And finally, if you'll rate and review the podcast over on iTunes, I'd greatly appreciate that. And I will also give you Module 1 of my PHP 101 course for free. All the details on how to get that free module are at johnmorrisshow.com. Just click on the Start Here link at the top. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.